Hello and welcome back to the No Dig Norfolk Gardener. Now March I always find is a time of renewal. It's springtime and things do renew themselves. Some things though however don't, and we have to help them along. In the case for us, it's ensuring that the edges are cut back to where they were last season, and to ensure that none of the weeds and grasses are actually protruding now into the beds. And all of this will ensure that each one of our 5 plots will be ready to receive the plantings that we have ready for them. Now of course edges are really important to us because we have grass paths. If you didn't have grass paths and maybe you've got wood chipping, then you want to be thinking about, if you haven't done so already, to be renewing that wood chip. Now in our top tips for the month, we were saying about ensuring that you get on top of the weeds for the month in order that it makes your life just that bit easier as the year progresses. That's exactly what I've been doing. And this bed, it's the shallot and garlic outdoor bed. And actually it's done pretty well if you look at it. There's not too many weeds there really, is there? And myself and Mrs. W really haven't had the cover off to this very much, if at all, over the last, since probably November. But the garlic has come through strongly, and so has the shallots. Now in today's programme we should be looking at the things that you could be sowing this month and the things that you could possibly be harvesting this month, as well as a general look at the garden and also some footage from last week and this week of the things that we've been up to. What a difference a week makes, eh? It's the 12th of March today, and exactly 1 week ago on the Sunday, the temperatures were starting to fall. We were only around about 4 and 5 degrees. By Monday, we were lucky to see temperatures above 1 degree by day and freezing by night. And today, 10 degrees. I can see Mr. Sunshine is starting to poke his head through. All that weather we've had, all in the space of 7 days. Now, I would like to say a big thank you to you all for your lovely comments after our last video, our top tips for your March garden, where you were wishing us well and hope that our seedlings and our sowings were going to be right for the upcoming cold snap that we were going to get. Well, I have to tell you, I've seen some pictures around the country and pictures that other people have sent me, and the UK got some snow, didn't it? But not all of the UK, because actually we didn't see any. Well, I say we didn't see any. Actually on Friday evening, about 5 o'clock, it started to snow here, and we just got a covering. Not even a centimetre, just a covering of snow so that everything looked white. And it was gone by Saturday morning. But what we did get was prevailing northerly, northeasterly winds, and then towards the end of the week those easterly winds, and that's why it sort of snowed on the Friday, because the winds had swung round and things were coming in from the east. And where we live on the eastern side of the country, if there's an easterly wind, there's more and more of a chance for us of that type of weather coming in. But it has been really, really cold. But as I say, today you wouldn't know the difference. And I was just going around looking at things. It's the first time I've been able to get in the garden for a little while, obviously through all the cold weather. I've actually been away this week for work. I can see that black currant. Yeah, the leaves are there. buds are starting to come. And like I say, March is a time of renewals. Just to the left of this are the gooseberries. They too are starting to sprout their leaves. And the rhubarb. One of the jobs I need to do today from our list of top tips for March is to actually get some of our homemade compost spread around here so that this gets a good feed. But you can see beginnings of the leaf is now starting to come through, and it won't be long before we have sticks of rhubarb. Now, as I said, it got really quite cold at night. We were seeing temperatures of -3, 4, on some nights 5. And by day, barely got above 1 degree because of those really cold northerly winds. But while I was away, Mrs. W came up to here and she tucked them in with their duvet. You can see some of the fleece that we've used here. So they've been tucked in and kept nice and warm to keep the worst of the weather off these. And as you can see, it's worked. These are the brassicas that we sowed during February. Remember the last time we looked at them, they actually had then started to get their first true leaf. But actually, if you look now, they're starting to get their second new leaf. And next week, I shall be putting those out into their final growing positions. They're just a little over 4 weeks old by the time we get to next week. Onions, they're okay. Really, the cold, frosty weather doesn't affect them too much. It would have to be a really severe one to affect those. But the cold winds do. They don't particularly like the cold winds. So being here under cover means that they were largely, well, you can see they are absolutely unaffected. And I just wanted to show you that, you know, this is this coffee cup. You can see this is growing away really quite nicely. Just going to show that you can garden on a budget, and if you can't afford all these lovely trays that we have here, you can still raise your plantings using everyday things. I sound like a womble there, don't I, Mrs. W?
Uncle Bucket.
Using everyday things that you find around the house. That's one for Abby Ann, isn't it?
It is.
And also, as you can see here, the ones that we sewed into the toilet rolls, they're just as happy here. You can see it's getting a second true leaf. They are just as happy as these ones that are in here. So seed sowing. What can we be sowing during the month of March? Well, I think it's important that we just say that if you're going to be sowing any of these seeds, especially if you're going to be doing some outdoor, then just ensure that the conditions are right. You know, things like carrot seeds, and they need a certain temperature to germinate. If the conditions aren't right, then just delay the sowing. Otherwise, you're just going to waste your seed. They'll sit there and rot in the ground. So do keep an eye on your weather forecast. Now, everything that we talked about in February's What to Sow can be sown in the month of March. And if you didn't catch that video, then do go back and find that on our playlist. And then you'll see the things that could have been sown in February, but can actually still be sown in March. But to those things, this month, sowing undercover, you can add peas, celery, and celeriac. And I've had about 20-30 people that have messaged me and asked me if we can do a celeriac grow along. I can hear you all asking the screen now. Yes, we should be doing that. And we should be filming that probably within the next week. So you'll be able to start your sowing as well. In fact, we'll see if we can get that out for next weekend, Mrs. W. Because it's a great time mid-month to be actually sowing your celeriac. And we'll all do a celeriac grow along together. Now, during March, you wouldn't have thought so last week, but the weather does warm up, and I promise you it will warm up and conditions will get warmer. And there are things that you can now sort of begin to sow outside. But as I said earlier, do make sure that the conditions are right. Now, we saw in the polytunnel a little while ago that our onions are up here, and they're going to be going out into the ground very soon. But if you haven't done your onions yet, it doesn't matter. you can sow onions outside now during March. Also spring onions and radish and turnips, they can all be sown outside. Now for us, we sow everything under cover and in modules. We just find it easier, quicker, the germination is better. However, the only thing that we actually sow directly into the soil are carrots and parsnip. Now, carrots, we shall be making our first sowings towards the end of this month in March. If you look at your parsnip seed packet, it will often tell you that you can be sowing those from February. But if you take my advice, don't sow them in February. Don't sow them in March. Sow them in April. Parsnip seeds are not the easiest things to germinate. They can be a bit hit and miss. And if the weather conditions are not right, the soil is not warm enough and they don't get that chance to germinate, and then it rains, the seed rots and you get zero germination. And you've got to go all the way around again and sow more seed. And also, parsnip seed doesn't actually keep very long. Best advice is to always buy a new packet of parsnip seed every single year, because it simply doesn't last that long. But actually, once you've opened it, if you suddenly think in 6 weeks' time that nothing's germinated and you go back to it, the germination rate is already falling in my experience then. So do yourselves a favour and wait until the weather conditions are right. If you're at all concerned about it, then do go back to our videos that we put out there the back end of December, where we were harvesting things like our parsnips. And you'll see that from November onwards, we had parsnips that were that deep. And they were actually sown mid-April, weren't they?
They were, yes.
So you'll get parsnips in plenty of time. You'll have nice parsnips for when you want them. Now, March is also a really exciting month because it's a month when we can begin planting things outside into our plots once again. And with that in mind, if you are growing spring planting garlic, it's a good time to be planting that right here and now. Also, if you're spring planting your shallots, then March is a good month to be planting those. And if you are looking to be planting onion sets and not growing them from seed as we do, then March is the month again to be planting those. But I would advise you to plant those after the spring equinox, toward the end of the month, once the clocks have sprung forward. I've found that not so many of them actually bolted. Now for us, bearing in mind we garden in zone 9A, round about the 20th, 22nd, however the date falls on that weekend, that's when we plant our potatoes. Clearly, whatever zone that you grow in will determine when your last frost date is. So it may be that yours are done towards the end of March, it may be that they're done in April. But do find out when your last average frost date is, and then 4 weeks before that happens, pop those potatoes into the ground. And if you're keen to be growing your own asparagus and you want to be planting your asparagus crowns, then I would look to be doing that right towards the very end of March. Now, if you are wondering how we got on with our asparagus, because it seems a long time ago now when we put these into here last year, you can see that the ferns died down and that the new asparagus is actually starting to poke its head through. Now, clearly we won't be able to eat any of this year, and indeed next year, but the following year we should be enjoying our own harvest of asparagus. Now, what I want to be able to do is to plant out some beetroot. Do you know, I don't think we mentioned that on the things to plant out. You can be planting out your beetroot. Now, we actually sowed this sort of February, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah.
And you can see they come through nicely. We always multi-sow the beetroot and then plant that sellout. And when it comes time to harvest, we just harvest the largest one from the clump. Hello, Scylla. Goodbye, Scylla. Now, what I do like to do is to plant anything that we plant onto the ground really quite deeply, because I find that they establish themselves better. And you don't get long stalks on everything. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants that are popped in there. Average, let's say 4 beetroot per clump. 24 beetroot for us to enjoy. I've still got some plants left over, which I shall find another space like this and pop those in. For those of you that did ask for our garden planner and our seed calendar, hopefully we're following that. I haven't actually got it in front of me, but as I actually put it on the sheet, hopefully I'm doing what I put down on there. But no, if you've got that planner, as I said before, there are quite a few spaces where I've written nothing, and that's because I decided as I go along what I'm going to put in those spaces. Now, I know that last year I had spring onions running down here. I don't think it'd really make too much difference if I put spring onions back in here, but just because I can and I've got the space, I'm going to put beetroot in here, and I'll move the spring onions up to the top in plot 5, where they weren't last year, so that they get at least a year's break before they return. Or they may return back here for the last plantings in August. As I look at our garden, I can see that we still have quite a lot of purple sprouting broccoli to harvest. And that's in the form of Rudolph, and we still have claret to come. And up in plot 5 we still have leeks to harvest. I did take earlier on that last lone little sprout plant, which I think we might enjoy this afternoon, Mrs. W.
Yeah.
And in the greenhouse we're getting weekly harvest now from our spinach. It's been really lovely. And also our spring onions. Many of those are coming ready, and so we're able to enjoy the fresh taste of onion. Now, of course, in your gardens you may have grown something different, and you may still have other things to harvest, things like spring cabbage and cauliflowers. Do let us know in the comments below what you still have to harvest. Now, in next week's videos, we hope to be showing you us planting up our potatoes, and also planting out into their beds the brassicas that we saw earlier, and of course our onions. So do keep an eye out for that. And if you want to know when we release those videos, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. And we shall see you next time.